You're listening to the New World to Go podcast with your hosts, Redbyrd and BDLG.
Hello and welcome to another episode of New World to Go. I'm your host, Redbyrd, and with me is BDLG. Bordy, we're going to go through we got another patch notes episode for our group here. We really appreciate you guys. We're going to get through these relatively quickly. We're going to try to sum them up for you. There's a lot here, but I don't think there's like as far as like a lot of informative stuff, I don't know. There's like a lot of general changes that they made. So we'll glance over those, get you guys informed, up to date. If you want to follow along, you can go check out New World Fans, and that's a great segue into our plug of New World Fans. If you guys haven't checked out New World Fans recently, it's got a whole new redo of the look. All the the database is being updated by Taken as we kind of find out more and more information, or as things come off of NDA. The last time we got to update it was the Amarine Expedition event. So we have all the weapon skill trees and everything as of that event up there on the website. You can start planning out your routes on the trees you're going to take and your weapon skills, and kind of glancing through there, what passives you're going to put in. And soon, before long, we'll have a builder over there. So you guys can not only just go through your weapon skill trees and build those out, but you'll be able to build out your weapons, your jewelry, your gear, your armor. So we look forward to having that up there soon for you guys. So just keep your eyes over there. And you'll be able to start planning out your builds for New World soon. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's gonna be an awesome tool, dude. I'm ready to see that thing in action, no doubt.
Yeah, and we have some plans for the future. We haven't particularly hashed these out yet, but we have plans to feature some user built guides from New World Fans. So hopefully you create your account, go over there, and you can maybe save builds and maybe post them in our Discord or something. And then we look forward to maybe featuring on those on some episodes of New World to Go in the future. We're excited about that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be fun to talk about.
All right, guys. Also, if you're listening to this in podcast form, go check out YouTube. We do put the VODs up over there as well as videos 5 days a week. If you're watching this on YouTube, you should just go over to the podcasting platforms and then you could leave a 5-star rating potentially. Or if you're you're running low on time this week and you don't get to watch all the videos, you can definitely listen to the podcast. We're on all podcasting platforms, so that is Apple and Spotify and I mean literally all of them, I think, at this point.
Yep, should be. Yeah.
All right, so let's hop right into these to this episode. But at the top of the episode, we have a special announcement for you guys. We're excited to announce that we have a special guest next week, and it is Studi, I believe is how he says his name, right? Studi or Study?
Yeah, but it's not next week.
Oh, it's 2 weeks. We just had this
2
discussion
weeks.
Literally before we filmed this.
Yes, we did. I'm excited to have him on, man. He's crushing it over there on his YouTube channel. He's been covering New World for quite some time as well. Seems like a really, really cool guy. So I'm excited to have him on the podcast, man. It's gonna be a fun episode for sure.
Yeah,
in 2 weeks from this episode.
2 weeks. It is June 6th. With I literally just clarified that with him in Discord before the episode as well. Because I told him Sunday, June 5th, and it was like those are 2 separate days. So we got it clarified. It is for sure June 6th. For the podcast, we'll record it. It'll be live the next morning for you guys. And like Bordy said, the dude's killing it. He makes great New World content. If you haven't checked him out, go over to his YouTube channel. It is Stud with 3 E's at the end. So basically Study. But instead of the Y, there's 3 E's. So go check him out. We'll leave potentially a link right to his content. I know we will when we do that the episode, obviously. But we can do that for you guys if you're interested in that, or join the Discord. He's in our Discord as well, so you can give him a shout out and check out his stuff. He's good, man. He does a great job, and I'm excited to meet him and to have an opportunity to discuss New World with him. Because, dude, we're getting close to launch. We're getting close to beta. And dude, I'm excited to be part of this community. Just people, getting the chance to play New World on a daily basis and talking about it with other people. It's gonna be dope.
It's exciting. I do feel the hype growing, man. There's been a little bit of a shadow cast, but it's all right. We're gonna push through that, and then the hype is still growing. I think I'm excited, man. I'm getting more excited by the day. We're getting close, dude.
Yeah, I am too, man. And again, there's no reason not to be. The game's coming out. I think Sir Medieval has potentially done an interview about all this controversy. So we'll be able,
we'll be
able to see that.
That's
tomorrow.
dropping this week sometime. Yeah. Yeah, dude, I'm ready to see that. Well, if you're watching this in video form, it's probably already out by now.
True.
I would think.
True.
Over there on his channel, Sir Medieval's channel, SER. If you don't know who Sir Medieval is, Sir with an E. And then Medieval. Yeah. Good stuff, man. I'm ready to see what that interview is about and what he asked the devs. And I think he tweeted out a little teaser. Dude, I don't know, man. I hope he has some hard-hitting questions and we get some good answers to some stuff.
Yeah, I would expect some clarifications of all this stuff. So, and I'm glad he's doing it with a community member, someone that's been in the community for a long time. Definitely, I mean, as long as we've been here. So I'm glad that they chose him to do the interview with instead of some publication or something like that, like IGN or whatever. I think it's a great move by them. So I look forward to see that. All right, let's hop in here. We do have a ton of patch notes. So we're going to go through here. This is and we mentioned this, I think, on last episode, but this is the last bit of content that we're going to get before launch. Now, obviously, they have massive plans to continue to update the game as it's live, as a live client, and put new weapons and zones and all that stuff after launch. But as far as content that we're going to see on day one, this is the last bit of it. So it's kind of exciting to know that this will be the last patch note or extensive patch notes that we'll be covering before we actually get to play the game. So that's
right.
Awesome. So let's hop right in here now. They had teased this before, and we kind of mentioned this in our Amarine Expedition video, that there will be 2 more expeditions rounding out the total of expeditions that enter the game, and it'll be 6, Bordy. So the first one is called Shattered Obelisk. Now, journey further into the depth of Amarine Temple to unlock the ancient secrets that the obelisk holds. The Shattered Obelisk expedition is extended for level 30, intended for level 35, and is found in the Everfall territory. So, dude, I love the idea of continuing a story from expedition to expedition. This is going to be really cool.
Yeah, dude, this is something that we've been covering on our lore episodes every Friday that we drop on the channel. And dude, this is going to be an awesome one for us. I know for sure, because we want to know what's under the obelisk and what's happening under there and what powers it and all that good stuff. So from a lore standpoint, I can't wait to run this thing. It's going to be awesome. And I think it's going to uncover a lot of mysteries and a lot of secrets. And then just from a gameplay standpoint, I think it's going to be a cool scene, a cool area, and a really fun dungeon to run. A little bit more content for us to do. Level 35. So it's kind of mid game. I'm excited for this one, man. It's going to be good.
Yes, I'm really excited about that as well. The next one we have is the second new expedition is the Depths. Captain Thorpe returns. His corrupted army has made the ancient ruins below a storm tower on the peninsula of the Restless Shores their base of operations. He now styles himself the Master of the Tempest, the King of Corruption. From this base, he terrorizes the countryside. Can you thwart his plans? Now, this is an interesting one for me, Bordy, because this one's only meant for level 45 players, which you think, as much as they hype up Captain Thorpe as a character, you would think it'd be an in-game expedition, but this is for level 45.
Yeah, you would think so, man, but that's fine. I think that they're just trying to spread it out a little bit for your levels. I think it's okay, but yeah, you're right. You would think that Captain Thorpe is kind of more in-game focused, but I think it's fine, man, to have him in here at level 35. He's one of the key characters of the game. And what I find interesting about this, though, is the King of Corruption. Right. We already know the Queen of Corruption. So now he's the King of Corruption. So it's going to be interesting to see from a lore standpoint how all that ties together, too. So these are going to be good, man. The story alone, I think, from these things is going to be really good. And I think the dungeons are going to be fun as well. I think in the preview or the exclusive event that you and Taken were able to participate in not too long ago, got a sneak peek at one of the dungeons, and that was supposed to serve as an introductory dungeon. So I think these other 2 are going to be a lot of fun, man, based on what we've seen. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. I want to read Commander Thorpe's, excuse me. This is Commander Thorpe now because he's further embraced the corruption. Thorpe's attacks and abilities have significantly grown, making him a powerful agent of corruption and a deadly threat to Aeternum. So it's interesting because, and this is kind of a side or lore type note, that the corruption is something that you can continue to progress in, because obviously he seems to be a lot more powerful than he landed. Another important thing, and I wonder if they're going to take this version of Captain Thorpe out, is he was in the Shattered Mountains as well during the preview event. A lot of people fought him, and he was in a little bit of a cathedral or something like that. So I wonder if that Captain Thorpe will still be there, or they'll take him out in lieu of the new expedition.
I don't know. Maybe you don't beat him in the expedition, and he is an in-game boss as well. So maybe he
Open
kind of
world.
says we'll meet again or something. Yeah, open world, like a level 60 elite type of thing, maybe at the end. So who knows, man? We'll have to wait and see. A sidebar here, dude. Oh, you're going to read it. Sorry. Go ahead and read it. Did you already read it?
What?
Captain Thorpe's description.
Yeah, I just read it.
Okay, my bad.
Bordy.
I'm sorry, man. I was focused on something else because look, man. Look at this screenshot, dude. Listen.
That armor in the screenshot is sick, dude.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk about. Is this armor that this person has on the player? It's very Asian inspired. It's very Ebon scale reach style armor, and it looks amazing. It's the first time we've seen any armor like this. I think they dropped this in kind of the new trailer that they showed not too long ago, but. Dude, look how cool that looks, man.
It's dope.
That's why I was just ignoring everything you said. I was too mesmerized
that's
by this.
Nothing new. And the thing is, dude, they have such an opportunity with all these historically influenced armor pieces and styles to just continue to add dope like samurai and barbarian and Viking. And, I'm excited to see all these influential types of armor. This one is definitely sick. And if you haven't seen some of the other ones from like the Ice Staff reveal, Ice Gauntlet reveal, you should check those out because those are like torture, like Dark Souls type or themed armor, and it's awesome, dude. It's really, really cool looking. They're doing a great job. The art team is with the new armor styles for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So the next feature that they're adding is player titles. Now, this is something that I think is pretty interesting. One of those things that I'm not sure we asked for, but it's exciting to know that they are coming to the game. Certain activities such as completing specific achievements will now award displayed titles. There will be over 100 titles, and players can choose to display any one unlocked title or choose not to display a title at all. So when equipped title appears above your name in New World and incorporates your character's name in a title, the title will fall into one or two categories. It's account-wide or character-bound, which I would just prefer if they're all account-wide, but that's okay. So what do you think, Bordy? Player titles in New World?
I think it's cool, man. A nice little addition to the achievement system that they have going on. It's another reason to want to complete the achievements or to get all the achievements. I think it's fine. It's a nice little addition to the game.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So the next feature that we're going to talk about is discoverable fast travel points. So distributed through Aeternum, fast travel points are located that allow players to fast travel from location to location at the cost of Azos. So these are aside from settlements, guys, or territories. These are actual fast travel points that you can discover on the map. And of course, this kind of applies to all fast travel, but the further distance and the heavier the load you're carrying, the higher cost of travel. Once a player discovers a point, they can travel from that location from outposts and settlements. So here we go. They're further breaking up the territory. A lot of people have complained about running. Obviously, during the preview event, we had the life staff to teleport everywhere, which is kind of not kind of. It's not even in the game anymore. So what do you think about these extended fast travel points?
Yeah, I think they're fine. The only question that I have in my mind now is the use of camps. I think that's something that comes to people's mind whenever they see these discoverable fast travel points. Do we really even need camps anymore?
I think they're coming out, man. I don't know why they wouldn't at this point.
Well, we went in depth about camps on an earlier video, so I don't want to harp on that too much here. But that's the thing that comes to my mind is what purpose are camps going to serve now if we have these fast travel points that are located around Aeternum now, so you can fast travel from point to point, not only from point to point, but from settlement to settlement to inn to inn. There's a lot of ways to fast travel, a lot of ways to get around the map of Aeternum now. So we'll see what happens to those things. But I think the discoverable fast travel points are fine, man. I think it's okay.
Yeah, I agree. So let's pop through here. These are the general changes that we were talking about. They've updated the quests. Obviously, they're making sure that the main storyline goes all the way to the end of the game. So a bunch of changes there. They've let's see here. They've moved to corruption breaches or corrupted breaches to elite level content, which I think is important. I think it's good.
Yeah, I think that's a good change.
You definitely want those to be a challenging feature. You want you want the fear of the corruption or the corrupted taking over your zone, and I think that making that more difficult is definitely good for the overall feel of those corrupted breaches. They changed faction control points. They increased the time required to capture a fort now, and they added participation limits to the area. So now only 25 people per faction can get in the same fort, and that makes sense. I mean, I like the limitation to some extent because it prevents zerging, but it also like performance would get really crazy if you just let literally the entire server pile into one like fort-sized area.
Yeah, I think this is a huge change, man, and a very interesting one, in my opinion, because whenever you talk about open world PvP, this is no longer really open world PvP. This now becomes more of an instance type of situation, which is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But I think for the server performance and for the prevention of zergs, I think this is the correct move, in my opinion. I do understand that this is no longer true open world PvP, but it is kind of first come, first serve. So it's not like you have to queue up and then go in there. If you get there and it's full, I would imagine that you'll have to wait in a queue until you can go in there, which brings up a lot of other questions. Like if you die, do you get booted out? If I don't know how all that works. And this may solve the problem of camps that we had talked about before as well, Red, because maybe if you die, then you're done and you get booted out of the instanced area and then somebody else can come in, or you have to either die and then you have to run back in. Or so I don't know how that's going to work, but this is a pretty big change. And I think ultimately overall, I think it's a good one. I still would like to see more maybe points of interest for smaller scale PvP in the open world that maybe aren't instanced, that wouldn't be a target for zergs per se, but maybe a target somehow to incentivize smaller group play, like some 2v2s or, even some 1vx type situations. Because right now we don't have a lot of like 1vx type of situations that you're going to get in unless you just happen to come upon one in the open world. And those are the types of things I think that a lot of people enjoy. And I know I like that too. So we'll see, man. I think overall this is a good change, though. It's a big one, and I think it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think a lot of PvPers enjoy one of two things. They enjoy the 1vxing, the challenge of taking on multiple people at one time. And so then, like you said, that can sometimes be limited. Maybe not, though, if you're the only person in your faction in a fort and then you have, X amount of people come and attack, you could have that opportunity, I guess. But and then also arenas or organized like small group PvP, like 2v2, 3v3. Yeah. So maybe they'll add that in the future, hopefully, at post launch. But they do have dueling in the game right now, so you can
which is awesome.
2v2, 3v3, 5v5. So maybe that'll tie us over until that feature's added. Yeah. So they made some massive changes to housing here. Now they now have tiers of houses. They're no longer like just per cost. You have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. Now it's pretty interesting here, Bordy, because they've changed the they've changed the way that you get your like multiple houses. Before it was like extremely expensive to buy a second and third house. They increased the cost exponentially. So now housing and settlements have tiers. Each tier of a house comes with a different cost and a different set of benefits, with the most expensive houses conferring with the greatest benefits. So here's what's interesting, Bordy. Each one of these tiers of houses you'll unlock at a different level. Tier 1's at 10, tier 2's at 15, and then tier 3 and 4 you can buy at 20. These are, obviously tiered by cost, but they also allow you to have a certain amount of each type of housing item in there. So if you have a low tier one, you may have a low amount of storage that you can put in there, pets, and then lights, which is, I think, probably just a performance thing. And then as you get to the higher tiers, you get more of all those things. And what's cool is you also get a reduced fast travel cooldown as you buy a higher tier house. So what you'll probably see, and this will be interesting, Bordy, because you'll probably see is a lot of people wanting to own all tier 4 houses in game, and then that competition of housing which they have, which is basically like who has the best rated house. I wonder if we'll see a lot of people in those tier 1 houses, farther down the line in the game.
Yeah, I don't know. That does bring up an interesting point. So I guess we'll have to see what happens there. But overall, I think this is a good change, man. I like the way that they have these houses tiered now with the price points and the benefits you get from these, because before it really didn't make, I guess it was okay, but it was, this just makes more sense in my mind to do it this way. And I like this, but you do bring up a good point. And I that's something I haven't thought about yet, is maybe those tier 1 houses will be abandoned late game. Who knows? I don't know. But then again, Red, Well, I don't know, because the fast travel cooldown, it might be a big thing. And then the furniture allowed with the buffs and all that stuff, but you can only have one buff active anyway. So I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see. I like these changes, though, even if the tier 1 houses are abandoned later on in the game or whatever. I don't know that it will ultimately affect a whole lot. So I think the way that the housing structure has been changed is really good. And a quick plug, I also just finished a housing guide over on newworldfans.com. So you guys can go check that out, too, if you want more information.
Yes, sir. Okay, so, here's another interesting thing that we're going to talk about, and this is kind of tied into the XP or leveling position, is faction missions. So they've changed these pretty significantly now. They've optimized, the way they perform, and kind of, obviously your PvP missions probably more likely for you to run into somebody, but they changed the faction rank system. This was one of the bigger complaints about the faction system, was how like the way you leveled up your faction and you become, or different pieces of gear and things in the store become accessible. It didn't make any sense at all. You're basically getting access to lower tiered items, so you never really would ever want to equip those things in the store during the preview event. So faction missions now award reputation and faction tokens. Players will automatically be granted quests that encourage them to earn enough reputation to achieve the next rank. At that point, they will be directed to a specific faction representative who will offer a trial quest. So trial quests are new. Trial quests are now the key to unlocking the next rank faction. So you never have to pay. Now you won't have to pay gold and faction currency. You'll just have to do these trial quests, which basically proves your, allegiance or whatever to your faction, which I think is cool. Faction tokens are no longer required for ranking up. Players instead spend them exclusively on faction gear and items. All right, dude. So overall, I think they're continuing to hone in this faction system, which we both acknowledge is very important, given the fact that the game is based around this struggle between the three factions.
Yeah, these are really, really good changes, I think, because not only does this kind of start honing in the faction system, but it also adds a little bit more content to the game, and it adds a little bit more progression to the game too, in terms of getting these quests done, because before you could just go ahead and unlock that next rank without any problem, because by the time you got there, you already had a ton of faction tokens and you probably didn't spend them anyway because there was nothing in the store worth buying, and so on and so forth. And I think that all these changes are, potions. That's about all you would buy in the faction store, to be honest. So I think now all of these changes that they're making are very, very good and definitely pushing it more towards the right direction. And these faction trial quests, I like that, man, because it does make you feel a little bit more drawn to your faction, I guess. Maybe it'll offer a little bit of insight to your faction. I hope the trial quests kind of tie into your faction story somehow too. That'd be really cool. Who knows if they do? I hope they're not just some kind of fetch quest or something. But I like them, man. It's more content, more things to do, a better way to rank up within the faction. I think it's good stuff.
Yes. So here, speaking of the, your ranking up and everything, XP and leveling has been pretty significantly changed, and I expect them to continue to titrate this, getting it to where it feels good and it feels like you're progressing on a consistent basis as you're leveling. That was a problem. A lot of people felt like it was too fast during the preview event, but then they significantly slowed it down. So you can kind of see them working on this balance. But here are the big changes here. We've adjusted our leveling curve and rest experience to speed up leveling for casual players and introduced new ways to gain XP. So this is, I think a lot of these are really good, Bordy, and important for the different demographics of people that play the game. The XP per level curve has been adjusted to increase the rewards of doing quests lower than your level. So that's, it used to be like extremely unbeneficial to do quests that were lower. So they've kind of titrated that a little bit. XP for killing monsters has been adjusted. They didn't say up or down, but they did state that your elite mobs will be giving more XP now than they did before. Expeditions now grant significantly more XP. Territory standing level now grants experience when acquired, which I think is a good change. The number of XP bonus cards that a territory can grant while leveling up has been limited. So basically, you can only choose your XP bonus cards so many times, and then they won't be presented to you. So you can get up to 10% increased XP, which is a pretty significant increase to your XP gain, especially if you choose that. But we've kind of talked about this a little bit, maybe off air, that sometimes in your in-game zones, you're not going to be wanting to select XP at all. you're going to want to go with other things. So we'll see how that affects the overall like feel of these XP bonus cards to begin with. Faction missions have had their experience rebalanced to match a new leveling curve. They added a new daily bonus of 200% XP for the first 3 faction missions. I love that change, dude, because that's going to promote people to always do their faction missions each day, which will, again, get people out running around the world, make it feel alive, and potentially provide a lot of opportunities for open world PvP.
Yeah, I think so. That is a big change. I am personally not a huge fan of dailies in a game, but this isn't exactly what I'd call almost a required daily quest. A lot of times in games, you have these almost required daily quests that give you rewards that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get. You do get double XP, which is a pretty big incentive to do these things. And I do think that they needed to give more reason to do these things because a lot of people just probably wouldn't have done them otherwise. So I think overall it is a good change. I'm not a huge fan of of dailies feeling like you have to log in daily to get something done or whatever. I understand that's a big thing in games because you want to keep your login numbers up, but I'm also a big proponent of just make the game good and make people want to log in daily. That's a whole other conversation. Overall, I think this is fine. It'll enhance people to do the faction missions. And I just hope this isn't an open door to go down the road of adding like more daily quests later on down the road, man. Not a fan of those, but in this context, I think it's fine. I think it's good. Yeah,
for sure. So rested XP is another thing they changed. You will start generating it at 8 hours as opposed to 12. I think that's a good change. Raise the cap for total rest XP from 100% to 150. Decrease the rate at which rested XP is gained from 2% per hour to 1% per hour. So they did nerf that a little bit. Obviously, I guess by a significant amount. If you're talking about doubled, they've reduced it by half. But again, you should be earning more frequently now. Rest XP now works on all sources of XP, which is another good change. Yeah, because you're basically before it was just mobs, so now you can get it with quests. So then, I mean, dude, it might be efficient to log in to play New World, if those people are limited to an hour or 2 hours a day. When you get in, you get the bonus for your rested XP, and then you get your added bonus for your territory missions. You might be able to get, a couple levels real quick if you're limited on playtime.
Yeah, you run in there and then you get to, a rested XP on top of your 200% XP bonus is going to be pretty crazy. You should be able to get a lot of XP running those 3 missions for the first part of your playtime of that day.
Yeah, and we'll see. Again, leveling's the speed in which you're leveling is a very, I think, subjective thing to a lot of people. Some people want it to take forever, as long as the experience is pleasurable and something that you look forward to doing. And then other people, kind of feel like you should get the end game or end games where all the main stuff goes on. So it's tough, man, to find that balance. And I'm sure they'll continue to work on that to make it feel good when it launched. And of course they have closed beta to kind of get some feedback and information there. So I think this will continue to change, Bordy, as far as the XP gain goes. So they changed the leveling milestones. You'll get your first bag slot or at 10, your ring slot at 20, and then your earring slot now at 40 instead of 20. So that's pretty far off there getting the earring, but I think it is what it is, right? It just helps progression feel more and more significant, I guess.
Yeah.
Quests and projects, we've updated PvP flagging rewards to incentivize PvP activity and providing more meaningful reward for in-game players. You will now gain experience, faction tokens, and item rewards when you kill a player. So that's interesting. The item reward thing is intriguing. I'm wondering what that is. The rewards are based off of how long the player's been alive while flagged. So it's kind of a bounty system in a way. Players only drop rewards after a minimum threshold. And this is a big one too, Bordy. They remove the 10% experience increase given while being flagged. So now, as far as like standard goes, there is no XP gain for flagging or not flagging, which I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that either, man. I do like the experience faction tokens, item rewards that you get whenever you kill a player, but it also is based on how long the player has been alive while flagged. So there's a caveat there. So it's like every time you kill a player, you may not get rewarded. You may not get anything for killing that player. So now that they remove the 10% experience, man, it's going to be, I don't know, is that going to is that going to incentivize more people to flag or de-incentivize people to flag? Like, I don't know, but I do know that I want there to be healthy open world PvP. And so I guess we just have to wait and see. I don't know how big of a fan I am of removing the 10% experience increase given, because there's a lot more risk involved whenever you're flagged. Well, I say a lot, but there's not a ton of risk involved. You don't lose anything, but time is what you lose if you die while you're flagged. So, which I think is valuable, obviously. But anyway, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think the telltale sign is going to see. It's going to, like, how much experience do you gain? How many faction tokens do you gain? What's the reward you get whenever you kill a player? I think those are the things that could determine like whether or not removing the 10% experience is okay. Like, if it's crap, if you don't get anything for killing a player or much of anything for killing a player, I don't know, man. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. They made a lot of changes, so it's so hard to like anticipate the effect of all of them as a whole. You now have new respawn points that that are present in the game. I would assume. Again, we mentioned this that part in the preview event where we just basically respawned and killed the same people like thousands of times. So would that level us up? I mean, is that going to be like a quick form way to level now?
No, because I don't think so, because it's based on the time that they're alive.
Well, yeah, so, that's what I mean. But I don't know. Like, does that mean like 0 experience? If they,
I would think so.
So that'll be interesting. Again, if they keep camps in or not. That'll kind of affect how quick you can kill people, or kill people after respawn. They obviously added the respawn rates on the map. You also have, again, it seems like they're incentivizing people flagging at end game, because then you're going to gain more faction tokens and item rewards potentially when you kill. I think the big question mark is those item awards. What do you get rewards? What are you going to get when you kill somebody? So. Sorry, go ahead.
No, nothing. I was just gonna say, I think you're right. That's kind of yet to be determined. So we'll see how that plays out.
But then again, there's always risk and reward there. So is the type of item you're getting from killing someone worth the risk of getting set back in your journey? But again, if you're at end game, then who cares, right? You're just going out to strictly look for people. Then it might be beneficial. Who knows? We shall see. They made some gold rebalances. They adjusted the way that you obtain gold, or the main way you obtain gold. So they reduced the cost of housing significantly, which is really good. They increased the taxing on housing, and coin costs for repair have been reduced slightly. So. Or roughly by 50%. So that's significantly. But, again, just some titration to the economy. And this will require a lot of mass testing, as, we see how kind of items are priced out as far as rarity goes on the auction houses and stuff like that, to see, how the player-driven economy cycles gold. Because that's going to be the real gold sink in New World, is the economy and how the crafting economy works, I think.
Yeah. It's good that they're acknowledging this stuff though, and rebalancing gold, because it was kind of an issue, and so I think they'll get it right, man. It's just going to take some time, like you said. It's going to take a lot of testing and a lot of trial and error to see how this works. I would imagine they'll probably kind of adjust that as we go, even post launch.
Yeah, for sure. So here are some real quick things about loot and gear. They did change cooldowns, so you can't loot large chests as frequently as you could before. They added named weapon drops to discover throughout Aeternum, including 260 weapons and trinkets and 130 name monsters in the open world. That's insane, dude. That is a lot of named people that they added.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. I like it.
Weapon rewards and drops have been rebalanced to closely align with player progression, which is good. A lot of the drops seem very insignificant when you play the game before. Added new visual variety to weapons and armor sets through the game. This includes many of the armor drops from the open world enemies in the elite PvPs. I think that's great as well, dude. The more the merrier, man. We all want to look different and unique little flowers.
Yep.
So change the specific weapon rewards for quests and starting zones to ensure new players get a chance to have a wider variety of weapons. Obviously, another good thing, you can start out leveling the weapon that you want to level from the jump. I think is important, so that'd be great. Dropping items, this is just a little thing. Like, you can now only drop items for yourself, for the most part. They'll only be visible to you. So there's no more like going behind the shed and dropping items for your friend. There's a trade menu now Spoiler alert, there's now a social menu that you can do trading, so that's no longer a thing. You can only see the things you drop, and they'll only be available for 3 minutes. And then they'll disappear forever. So, if you organize your inventory or something, it gives you a little bit of leeway there to kind of drop things and reorganize stuff. So,
yeah, probably good for performance as well without having all that stuff all over the ground.
yeah, I read someone going to drop 1 potion every 1 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a new thing, Bordy, tuning orbs. And we made a video about this. I think these are really interesting as far as the feature goes. Tuning orbs, they increase the reward of expeditions. We know that because they increase the experience. We have gated the entrance to the expedition on the party member having a tuning orb. So tuning orbs will be given to for each expedition quest and can be crafted from material found around Aeternum. Now, I love the idea of this being a crafting service. It's going to be part of the stonemasonry skill. So I believe stonemasonry is responsible for like gem cutting, for like jewelry and the slotting it into weapons and armor. And now they're also responsible for, your entrance to your expeditions, which is dope, dude. I love this. Tuning orbs have a limited number that they can be crafted each week. Tuning orbs for higher level expeditions have low amounts of crafting per week. So this is pretty cool. The further you get into the game or like the higher level of the expedition, the less amount of these are going to be on the market or potentially if they're tradable or just be crafted in general, which I like, dude. I like that.
Yeah, I think it'll add some value to the economy and add some value to some of the items that are found in the game. And we'll see. We'll see how this plays out, man. I'm not sure how big of a fan I am about gating dungeons like this, but I think overall there's some good takeaways from tuning orbs. So we'll just have to see how they play out in game, man.
For sure. It'll be cool to see because this is like an old school MMO feature. So it'll be cool to see how people react to this.
I do like the addition of a new stonemasonry use, though. Yeah, I do like that because I think it was probably the least used ability or trade skill, if I had to guess, during the preview event. I don't know that for sure, but I would say it was one of the least used skills or whatever, crafting skills. So I like they added it to that specific skill line.
Yeah, I do too. And anyway, I love that they're strengthening the player-driven side of crafting and gathering for sure. Yeah. So max gear score is now capped at 600. It's no longer 650. We adjusted our top-end enemies slightly to ensure the in-game content provides a real challenge while accommodating. Like so it sounds like kind of like they just dipped the gear score by 50 and didn't adjust any of the difficulties of the mobs, which is cool, man. I love the idea of some difficult in-game content.
Yeah, me too.
Crafting resources, consumable buffs, trophies, armor buffs, and lifestyle buffs have now all been retuned to accommodate this change, which is the gear score change. In addition to crafting items of the highest quality, players must combine bonuses from a variety of sources, the ones listed before, and the relative lifestyle bonuses from a town project. So it seems like, a lot of these choices when you're, creating your gear as far as bonuses go and getting someone good to craft them are going to be very significant for in-game content because you're going to have a well-organized build to complete this, which I love.
I do too. And I think that people that really get into crafting love this type of stuff too, because this is kind of min-maxing your crafting. And in order to be like the best, in order to craft the items at the highest quality, you have to have all these things going for you. And so those people are going to be in high demand. And I like that a lot. I think that is a recipe for a successful crafting system in a game. And for that demographic of MMO players, I'm happy because I think that's going to add to their experience in the overall game.
Yeah, so here, speaking of these crafting and gathering bonuses, they have now put crafting armor that are rare drops within the world and elite points of interest, which are like, all of the they have elite mobs. They're like open world dungeons, basically. Crafting armors have crafting bonuses that are not intended to be best in combat, obviously. Adjusted skinning XP values to align progression more with gathering. The overall gathering speed bonus gained from progressing in a gathering skill was increased. It seems the potential range of the bonus on gathering tools has been made wider. because, again, they kind of titrated the gear score on everything, so therefore had to kind of make some adjustments to the way the gathering tools worked as well. Overall, dude, it looks like they're, continuing to hone crafting and gathering, which I love. Dyes, they have increased the number of craftable dyes, which is insane because there's already a butt ton. I remember sometimes having an overwhelming amount of colors of dyes in my inventory, and they didn't stack because they're all different colors. So now they've added even more. So dye pigments come from a special plant called Prisma Bloom. Faction-specific dyes can be purchased at faction stores. So now you can rep your color, or whatever faction you want to choose.
Yeah, I like that. The more increasing the number of craftable dyes is good, man. The more customizable, I don't know, whatever word I'm looking for, the more you can customize your character to be different than everyone else. I think that's a good thing. I think people really like it. I like doing that too. I like making my guy look different than everyone else. Or if you have a guild or a company, in the game, you can make them look the same. And then faction specific dyes is also another thing to rep your faction, to give you a more of a tie to your faction. I really, really like that change for sure, because you can't, if you're a marauder, you can't get the same faction specific dye as a syndicate and whatever. So I like that. That's really, really good.
Yeah. So furnishings in the house, we weren't happy with the play tins that we're seeing, so they made some adjustments, limited the number of recipes are available to craft by default. So they're basically just making furnishings even more difficult to get, or even more rare. Schematics are completed by furniture can be traded at the trading post. So now that the schematics for furniture drops in the open world, you don't just unlock it by crafting furniture. There'll be some rare ones out there in the world, which I think is cool, man. Again, like you said, with character customization, anything to increase the variance or the variety of housing items, I think is really cool too. Player housing is something fun to mess with, and I'm glad that they're continuing to show interest in that as well.
Yeah, I think that system needs to be pretty deep as well, and it looks like they're headed down that path. I think it already is fairly deep. I think there's a lot of things to do with player housing and furnishings, and it's good to see that they just continue to add on to that system.
Yeah, so let's real quick tap through here. This is the UX UI system. Obviously, we mentioned they added a new social action menu, which is great. Will allow players to trade, duel, et cetera, so that's good to know. Group kick, they basically added that feature, so now it's not difficult to kind of get rid of someone in your group that's misbehaving or maybe not doing anything, AFK, et cetera. The enemy AIs have been updated to pass on all characters for core combat mechanics. We closely monitoring the effects of this update, and they continue to improve that. I love that, dude. They're just continuing to hone that in and making their combat above the rest, which I really hope they can exceed on, dude. That's the one thing we mentioned that's very important for the success in New World is the combat. So hopefully they continue to dial and titrate that in. And we'll probably make a video over this, but they nerfed all the attribute bonuses. Apparently they were all too strong for the most part, because literally all of them saw attention except for the focus one, which is your healing side. So no one, I guess, was complaining about that. But yeah, overall the attributes were adjusted. Base mana regeneration increase. Now it takes 50 seconds to fully regenerate mana. Consumables have been titrated as well. We can go through more of these in depth on a video probably. But just know that they made some adjustments to all of the weapons, but they're only minor. There's probably one adjustment per each weapon, so nothing too significant. But we'll go through these in a video as well for you guys later on down the road.
Yeah, there's not a lot of significant changes left here for sure. It's just a lot of balancing things and a lot of small minor abilities. So there's probably no need to go through each and every one of these.
All right, dude. Well, that about does it for the May patch notes. Let us know what you guys think. If there's any particular small division that you want us to see cover in a separate video, let us know in the comments on the YouTube channel. But yeah, that's it. Again, that's the last one we're getting, guys, until July 20th, which is the date for closed beta. So, dude, I'm stoked, man. I'm ready. It's already May 23rd. So we're less than 2 months away. Yep. Dude, I'm here. I'm ready. I think you guys are too. All right. Well, we have a company of the week this week, Bordy, as customary or most of the time. These are an NA guild. I'll let you take it away here.
Yeah, that we do. So we have the Raiders. Dude, their art looks dope over here. It looks pretty cool. It looks just like what you would think a Raiders look like. It's a dagger sticking through a skull with an R on the skull. It looks really, really cool. If you guys need to go to New World Fans to check out that art at least. So they are an NA company, like Red had mentioned. Their faction is Marauders. They're an English-speaking company, focuses PVX, size 51 plus. They are currently recruiting. So Blood and Steel, the Raiders Creed. Then they have a little welcome thing here. I'll read a little bit of it for you. It says, "Welcome Filth." I like it, man. Sticking into the character of the Raiders. If you think that you have what it takes to be a part of one of the hardest companies on the server, come join the Raiders. Test your skills to see if you're cut out for the most gruesome branch of the Marauder army. I love it, dude. We will dominate the front lines of the war and keep order within the realm. Yo, dude, I like it. We are a hardcore PvP, PvE company that will establish our dominance in the server by being the all-time best. We will all strive to do our best in training you to fight in PvP, regardless of your desire, because a raider is a warrior before anything else. That's dope, dude. So then it says they're wanting to run faction missions, raids, defending forts, keeps, basically everything in the game, but they're wanting to be a very hardcore guild. So if you're interested in that type of thing, interested in being a very hardcore about the game, wanting to be kind of the best on server, dude, the Raiders might be for you. So we'll make sure we link all of their information below. You can click that link and then you come see their post on New World Fans, and then all of their contact information is listed there. So go check them out, man. The Raiders sounds like a pretty fun group to be a part of.
Yeah, and we thank them for creating a company on our website. Obviously, they're also one of our patrons, so we thank the leader of that company for choosing to use, again, New World Fans to promote their company. And dude, it's so cool. I look forward to seeing these companies in game and seeing how they interact with each other. I think a lot of these companies that we've kind of promoted on our podcast are probably going to be at war with each other. So that would be kind of cool to hear those stories as well. Bordy, it's been a fun one, man. Glad to cover the patch notes with you. This will be the last time we get to do this, man. Which is kind of crazy, man. It's kind of crazy to think about. We've been doing this for over a year now, covering notes and updates and everything to the game. And this will be our last significant patch note episode before launch.
Yeah, I think the other patch notes are just going to be adjustments, fixes, optimizations, and all that stuff, which I'm sure we'll go over. But you're right. No more big news probably to add on to these things. So it's exciting. We're getting close, dude. We're getting close.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. All the support you guys give us on a regular basis is insane. We're grateful for each and every one of you. And we'll see you on next week, which will be episode 69. 40. So a real nice episode coming their way. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you on another episode of New World to Go.